That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it is week 3. And I know you guys got a lot of fantasy questions. Make sure you get in that chat, ask any questions. I know it's early as hell, so you're probably watching this when you actually woke up. So we're happy you're waking up with us. It's early as hell. I'm excited because it's week 3, and it's time for TSS Fantasy. It's time for TSS Fantasy. Fantasy. It's time for TSS Fantasy. Fantasy. It's time for TSS Fantasy.
You know, the great thing about being a football player is you don't have to take a shower to go to work.
There it is.
Not having to take a shower and being prompt is the key. Welcome in to the studio, Justin Jesus Herrera. Appreciate you joining me this morning.
Yes, sir. It is really waking up today with TSS. I see we got 2 people viewing with us. We appreciate the hell out of you for doing that. And if you're viewing this a little bit later, do not forget, go ahead, like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell. It helps us, makes our heart feel all warm inside that you care enough for that. And it makes us just a little bit richer as a person, as a podcaster, and maybe someday as a job.
Maybe Sunday, monetarily speaking, but right now it's all about the love and the heart. We do appreciate you guys. And yes, appreciate you guys joining us this morning. Like I said, if you got any lineup questions, go ahead and put it in the chat now. We'll get to those here in a little bit. Again, it's a little early this morning, so we have no injury update person to come in. I'll go over the injuries in a little bit. But again, it's just one of those things where go look at those rosters, and they're going to start making some decisions this morning, some of those game time decisions and stuff. So just make sure you're monitoring that. Go to tssfantasy.com. Look at our latest and greatest rankings. If you want to shop and compare your lineup as before you start today, make sure you go visit. The latest and greatest is on there. Go to Underdog Fantasy, use the promo code TSS. We'll double your deposit up to $100. We have lots of great weekend and weekly contests to get into. So just make sure you check that out. Easy ways to win some money. Also go to Jazz Sportsbooks as well. Use the promo code TSS. And if you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, go to Pro-Am Belts today. Nothing better than some championship bling you rock around your waist. All right, let's get things started this morning with the weather.
It's time for the weather report.
And Colts Martin, good morning to you as well. Wow, 5 a.m., bro. At least you got up. I don't know what happened to Jordan, but I'm glad you did. And yes, the permission is given. Go ahead and get that drink on. Let's get things started.
Get the mimosas and Bloody Marys already flowing. It's going to be a long day. If you're starting at 5 o'clock, just fucking go into it, man. Just get into it.
Let's go. That sounds like afternoon nap right after the 1 o'clocks are over with to me. All right, let's get the weather started. Games that you don't need to worry about your kickers in or these dome games. So Falcons at Lions, Chargers at Vikings, Cowboys at Cardinals, Steelers at Raiders. My apologies. So those are games, again, start your kickers with confidence in those. Don't need to worry about the weather. Now, weather is going to play a factor today. Once again, these rainy weekends are upon us for sure. Saints at Packers, 70 degrees. There's a slight chance of rain in that one. Winds right now in that one are 10 miles an hour, so nothing crazy for your kickers or throwing the football, however, might be a little sloppy. Texans at Jags, 89 degrees. Jeez. Clear skies. The winds are 9 miles an hour, so no big factor there. Broncos at America's team, the Miami Dolphins, 85 degrees, likely thunderstorm, it says, and winds 9 miles an hour. Titans at Browns, 70 degrees, mostly cloudy, it said. We were talking about that earlier this week. Winds, however, 16 miles an hour. It may play a factor in the passing game and the kicking. I think once it gets to 15 is when they say it starts to play with it a little bit. So something to note there. Bills at Commanders, 66 degrees, chance of rain, winds of 5 miles an hour. Colts at Ravens, 66 degrees, likely rain showers, it says, and winds at 7 miles an hour. Patriots at the Jets. This one's interesting. It says 62 degrees, and this one said definite rain. That's what it said on the thing. Winds at 14 miles an hour. So very poor conditions. It seems like it's going to be during the Patriots-Jets game. Panthers at Seahawks, 62 degrees. Chance of rain. Winds are 5 miles an hour. Bears at the Chiefs. It's 78 degrees. Clear skies. Winds 8 miles an hour. Nothing quite to worry about there. Eagles at the Bucks, 84 degrees. This is Monday night. It's going to be scattered rain with winds at 6 miles an hour. And Rams at Bengals, 74 degrees. Slight chance of rain, winds at 5 miles an hour. So just make sure you guys pay attention to those when you're starting those kickers. And of course, your air it out offenses. Those are things we definitely need to look at before you place those starts. All right. Well, I know it's early, but unfortunately, we don't have the doc in. We'll go over injuries in a little bit. I figure we can wait till the close to the end for those, since we'll be getting the latest update at that point. So it's Saturday morning, just like we used to on Sunday morning, and what we used to do on Saturday morning. Remember, we used to watch the wrestling and all that. Well, it's Matty Daddy time. Let's bring in Matty Daddy. He's got his locks of the week.
Oh yeah! But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Matt here with week 3 locks. I'm back. I'm ready to do it. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Quarterback Jordan Love.
Ooh,
week
yeah.
1, week 2, nothing but money. We're talking 14 for 25, 151. Still 3 touchdowns. That's 6 touchdowns. A league through 2 weeks. Not only that, he's QB2 on the season. Guys, this guy can do it all. He can scramble if needed, and he's about to go up against New Orleans, who's coming off a short week playing Monday Night Football, and might get his best weapons, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, and this stout offensive line with those top playmakers back versus the Saints. Give it to me. I think he's top 12 this week and potentially top 15 for the rest of the season. At running back, I'm ready to cook with Crisco. We're talking James Cook versus the Washington defense. We saw what he did last week versus Vegas, 17, 123, and 4 catches for 36 yards. That's where he can be deadly in the receiving game, but he's getting the touches at the running back position. We're talking 21 in week 2. Now up against this Washington defense, who just allowed over 120 yards to Broncos running backs. I have Cook in the top 10. For week 2. Last but not least, I got to go with wide receiver Mike Williams. We saw Herbert dominate last week, and he fed Mike Williams. We're talking 8 for 83 on 13 targets with no Eckler versus Minnesota, with a great matchup and plenty of big play potential. I think Mike, my boy, will be a lock for week 3. That's 3 locks: Jordan Love, James Cook, and Mike Williams. Call it.
And that's the bottom line. Go Stone Cold Central.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Oh, yeah. That's the way to get fired up for this morning. Let's talk about some ultimate DFS lineups for week 3.
My final meeting with the gods from the heavens above, as they spoke to me and hit me with the power of the ultimate warrior. You can feel it, dude.
So, Justin, I think it's 2 weeks in a row now. I got to get a crown for the ultimate DFS. Let's look at last week results. 116 led the pack. A little miss on Trevor Lawrence and Kittle. But other than that, not too shabby indeed.
I got to correct you real quick. Last week, I was like 0.1 behind Jordan.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, thank you for being humble. There's my lineup last week. A little miss on RB2 with Tyler Algier. Didn't come to fruition. DeAndre Hopkins has been struggling a bit. for sure. Obviously, Jamar Chase, big swing and a miss so far. There's Jordan's lineup. So he would be, I guess, the dumbass this week, if you will, but right behind me at 0.3 points. So yeah, all the way around, good team. He also missed on Algier. Took your swing and miss on Lawrence as well. So yeah, all the way around, not too shabby. We're at least over the 100, so we can't complain there. All right, let's talk about this week. Give me your ultimate DFS lineup.
Oh, you got it. There it is. There it is. Beautiful. It's time, baby. It's time. So I didn't know I was gonna get so many people that I like this cheap. Justin Herbert. Let's start off right there. This guy, he's 600 more than Kirk Cousins. But as of right now, he's playing MVP ball, and the LA Chargers need him to continue to do that. This is going to be a scoring fest. These two defenses rank equally low on the totem pole as far as giving up to the passer. And I'm all in for getting Justin Herbert in this matchup. I think Keenan Allen getting revived last week is just going to tear up this defense. And I think on the other side, Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson is going to keep this really competitive, really keep this thing rolling. And Justin Herbert, I think it's going to be a money play. Travis Etienne playing the Houston Texans. Houston Texans are the only team right now with 2 games with 6 rushing touchdowns allowed. I don't care who you are. Tank Bigsby has not been it so far. It's been Travis Etienne, and I'm going to roll with it at $6,900. Nice. And then DeAndre Swift, after that big explosion game, I know it's the Bucs. The Bucs have a good defense, but I mean, the way that you use DeAndre Swift is you just get him in space and you let him work. I think at 5,700, that's a steal. I don't think that anybody's considering Rashad Penny, Boston Scott, anybody right now, Kenneth Gainwell, anybody over DeAndre Swift after that like 170 rushing yard game. And then we got Laporta at 4,000. Love what he's been doing. He's been doubling his stats up from week 1 to week 2. He doubled his stats. I think this week he gets a touchdown, a little foreshadowing for a later character. Jordan Addison on the other side. Like I said, I'm all in on this game. I have a DFS article right now. It's doubling down on the Chargers and Vikings for a reason. This is going to be a high-scoring affair, probably the best game of the week as far as going down to the wire with touchdowns and field goals. Jordan Addison's got 2 touchdowns in his first 2 games. I think he continues that trend this week. And at 5,500, I'm here for it. Zay Flowers. So as of right now, the Baltimore, D.C. area, it looks like rain is going to be clearing up around 1 o'clock, right in time for the game. Love me some Zay Flowers. They keep that ball dry. I'm loving me some Zay Flowers today. There is no Odell Beckham Jr. Mark Andrews is still getting acclimated back into the lineup, and Zay Flowers has been taking control of the wide receiver room. Puka Nacua. Sorry, I got to come.
No, you're good.
Love me some Puka Nacua. Man, this guy tore up my defense last week. He showed that he can run the Cooper Kupp offense, and Matthew Stafford showed that he is going to do nothing but feed him. Cincinnati Bengals have been very unimpressive to me on defense. I think Puka Nacua can have another big game. I'm not going to bank on a 15-catch game, but I think we can supplement that with an 8-catch, maybe like 2-touchdown game for Puka Nacua. Jacoby Myers. When Jacoby was in, he scored 2 touchdowns. When he was out, the Raiders looked like shit. It looks like he might be somewhat the glue here. I'm going with Jacoby Myers having a big day this week against Pittsburgh and the Sunday Nighter. And then the Patriots, very cheap defense. And at the end of the day, it's still Zach Wilson. Bill Belichick owns Zach Wilson when it comes to their meetings. I think that continues.
Yeah, I can't disagree, especially right there at the end with this whole lineup, but especially that last part.
That one.
that defense. Ooh-wee. All right, let's talk about my lineup real quick. Look, we got Fred the Jester is in from Greece, but give me 1 second. Let's get through this. We're going to bring him in. Kirk Cousins. Look, we like to eat in this matchup, right? Where we're just talking about it. I also got the stack with Addison. Got to love me some Chargers or some Vikings in this matchup. This is going to be one of those fantasy games that you want someone involved in it. Josh Jacobs and again, going against the Steelers defense. who's not very good against the run, or excuse me, against fantasy running backs. I believe they're either 31st or 30th in the league. So not too good, and a good matchup like for him to get right this week. Kenneth Walker, I know everyone was like, if it wasn't for those 3 TDs, he wouldn't have had that great of a game. That might be true. However, once Pete Carroll finds his guy, he will feed it to him. So I do like him in this particular matchup against this Carolina defense, who is really good in the secondary, but against running backs, they're actually 30th in the league. So I like the way Kenneth Walker matches up. Talked about Addison already. Mike Evans, surprisingly, this Eagles secondary has been easy to get to. And Mike Evans actually has been playing really lights out so far this season. He's got a nice little connection with Baker, which is working out really good for him. So I like Mike Evans and Najee in the flex. The other team that's just as bad against fantasy running backs is the Raiders. So I'm trying to get any of these running backs in this matchup. You got 2 awful defenses against the run. And like Justin, listen, let me tell you right now, the Jets defense for 2,800 is one of the cheapest defenses out there right now. In this game that already looks like the weather conditions are going to be poor, I love both of these defenses, and especially at such a great deal. I just couldn't believe it. I thought I was getting bargain bin prices with that one. So that's something definitely you can easily snag up and not cost a lot on your roster. Here's Jordan's. Even though he didn't wake his ass up, he's been sick this week, so we'll give him a little bit of leeway. Still, like Fred to Travis Kelce is Jordan's Jake Ferguson. It's basically the same guy all season long. He's been starting Jake. Likes Matt Stafford today, Breece Hall, Brian Robinson Jr. He also likes Puka as well. Tyreek Hill, there's a lot to like today with no Jalen Waddle. So again, push Tyreek. Today, Mike Williams, we just heard about him from Matty Daddy, and he still likes that stack with Jordan Addison. Again, that's the theme today. Get in anyone you can in that Chargers-Vikings matchup. All righty. Well, looks like we got Fred. Let's live from Greece. Let's bring him in. He's just in time to answer some questions from the mailbag. So let's pull up the mailbag and bring Fred in.
You've got mail.
Live from, the other side of the planet. Welcome on to the studio, my friend.
Yeah! The Jester, international traveler in Greece, people. Yes, it is 1:48 in the afternoon. Who watches the 1 o'clock games at 8 o'clock at night? It's nuts.
That's cool, though. Like, you get a night game with a 1 o'clocker. I gotta love that. That's awesome. All right, well, let's get into it. You're in the house. We're going to talk some fantasy starts. I hope you're ready to hope you got your little pen and paper with you. Oh, he's got it in the dome, he says today. All right, let's go to Justin first for this first one. 2 is a company, 3 is a Stroud, Trevor Lawrence versus Houston, or Jared Goff versus the Falcons.
See, now if you were really creative with that name, you would have said Tua's a company and 3 is a Stroud.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Goff versus Atlanta in this one. And it's all predicated on the fact that I think that's going to be a more competitive game than the Lawrence versus Houston game. I imagine Lawrence versus Houston, it's going to be a lot of ETN. Lawrence might get a couple touchdowns in it, but I think Goff's going to go off for 300 and a couple touchdowns. So I'm going to take the 300 and a couple touchdowns from Goff against a very formidable Atlanta at this point, as we've seen. They're pretty damn good. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Goff this week.
Nice. All right, well, let's get to Fred, because God knows that arm's going to get tired. Green Eggs and Cam. Deshaun Watson versus Tennessee, or Geno Smith versus Carolina.
Wow, that's a difficult one because Carolina got a decent defense, and Tennessee is a division. I'm gonna go with Deshaun Watson. With Nick Chubb being hurt, I think he's gonna have to do a little bit more with his legs and possibly his arm. I know they got Kareem Hunt and the other running back, I forgot his name offhand, but I think that Nick Chubb injury just really is gonna let Deshaun Watson show what he has, and he should be able to shine today.
Indeed. And look, you inspired someone. Look, someone was like, you know what? If Fred can make it from Greece, but let's just play this to get him in. Greg got his ass up.
Morning.
Hey, woke up. He saw Greece. I gotta
What's up,
get
sunshine?
Y'all can't be doing this shit this early, bro.
I miss the old promo when we have Craig asking why the fuck I got him up this early. I gotta love it. All right. Well, Greg, you're in. I'm gonna hit you right off the bat with Call of Duty. This is a standard. Well, I guess it doesn't matter for standard. Justin Fields at KC or Brock Purdy versus the Giants.
I mean, Brock Purdy played already, right? Go with Justin.
You can tell. Fire the boys in the back, and I just read stuff on the prompter, so that's my bad on that one.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, it's kind of late now to make that decision, so I would say go with Justin Fields.
If you had Brock Purdy, you had an okay night, so it's okay anyway, I guess. All right, here, let me give you.
As soon as I get on, that's the question you hit me with. Okay.
My bad. All right, let me give you this one. Catalina wine mixing. It's Dak Prescott at Arizona or Kirk Cousins versus the Chargers.
I like Kirk Cousins against the Chargers, man. I think Minnesota's going to be passing the ball a lot more. Chargers defense sucks this year, so I'll go with Cousins over Prescott. Prescott's been, I want to say, held a little bit with Mike McCarthy calling the play, so I'm gonna go with Kirk Cousins.
All right, Fred's arms already tired. Colt Martin, I agree. It is never too early to talk some football. All right, let's go with Bateman begins for Justin, Miles Sanders at Seattle or Zach Moss at Baltimore.
I'll go with Zach Moss in this game. I'll tell you why. Chuba Hubbard was getting a lot of touches in this last game. I don't like Chuba Hubbard getting touches. I wanted a lot of Miles Sanders this offseason. I got a lot of Miles Sanders, and now I got a lot of headaches because I'm trying to figure out how I can replace Miles Sanders. But Zach Moss went off last week, and there's nobody there. Everybody in that backfield is either injured or they suck ass. So until Jonathan Taylor gets back, it's Zach Moss. So just load him up. It might be a sloppy field when they get there, so they're probably going to be running the ball a little bit. Although I think the air game will be involved in this one because, like I said, the rain's supposed to clear up around 1 o'clock. So go with Zach Moss and see what you can do because, like I said, I just have no faith Miles Sanders is actually the lead dog in Carolina.
Yeah, I don't say I blame you at all. Let's go to Tua Lipa for Fred. He needs one for PPR. James Conner versus Dallas, Tyler Algier at Detroit, or Jalen Warren versus the Raiders.
Let's take out the Dallas one because their defense is stout. So I'm not even playing with them anymore. I'm not even going to try. I think I'm going to go with Tyler Algier against Detroit. Just because I'm kind of agree with Justin today. I think Goff is going to air it out today. 300 yards, a couple of TDs, maybe 3 TDs. And I think they're going to have to do a lot of dumping off, try to control the game a little bit. So I think a lot of Tyler Algier is going to be used today.
Certainly could be the case. We'll see how much Najee does not play in a factor. What's up? All right, let's go
Giants
to –
that's a Giants fan.
All right, well, not too happy for sure. Let's go to Greg for the next one. Cobra Kyler. It's Khalil Herbert at KC or Kendre Miller at Green Bay.
Man, this is tough, man, because you can see with Chicago that they're slowly getting Rashard Jones more touches. And we thought Khalil Herbert was going to be like the cowbell of Chicago. And Kendre Miller, it's tough too. You're going to have Taysom Hill taking carries. You're going to have, ain't nothing on your waiver wire, bro. If I had to flip a coin, I'm going to go with with Herbert. I'll go with Herbert. I'll go with Khalil Herbert. He's the starter right now. I know Rashard Jones is getting carries, but right now I'm going Herbert, and they're going to be down against Kansas City. And Herbert's going to catch you some passes. I'm not sure if this is PPR, so he'll get some passes on third down. So I'll go with Herbert.
Greg sounded like he was going to start with Kendrick Herbert there to start with.
I know. I both K's. My bad.
I got you. I got you.
To sleep out my eye. My bad.
Let's go to Justin next. It's Stroudy with a chance of deep balls. It's need ones for PPR. Antonio Gibson versus Buffalo. Spears at Cleveland. Sorry, and Dalvin Cook versus New England. Tajay.
Damn.
Wow. Do you have anybody on your waiver wire?
Here we go.
I guess if I have to choose, I'll take Spears because he's the only one of the three that's actually looked like productive in the past couple weeks. So, I mean, I think they've been really trying to save Derrick Henry, and they got themselves a good one in Spears. So I'll go with Spears, even though it's a tough matchup against the Browns. But you look at the rest of the matchups, I mean, Dalvin Cook looks a little bit washed, and he's going against New England, good defense. Antonio Gibson against the Bills. I mean, shit. Tell me when they're taking the ball out of the hands of Brian Robinson. Antonio Gibson hasn't gotten a chance yet. And I don't think he will because he's been so good as a pass catcher, Brian Robinson. So I'm going to go with Spears because he's still getting a consistent 10 carries a game and maybe a couple touches as a receiver.
I like it. Let's give you guys a little break from answering some questions. We got a couple more. While we do that, we got our, again, back to our little Saturday morning theme. Our buddy is back with the Dingus pick of the week. Now it's pick of the week. It was word last week. My bad. Chris Fox is in now with the Dingus pick of the week for week number 3. Let's check it out.
This is the Dingus pick of the week with your host.
Oh, hey, welcome back. Hope you guys had a good week last week. This week's going to be even better. That's because we're sponsored by the letter L. L can stand for a lot of things like lucky, as in, whew, are you lucky Garrett Wilson caught that touchdown last week? Or how about lollipops, as in, man, the Giants really suck. It can also stand for loser. A loser is someone who doesn't win, and you don't want to be a loser, so don't play Jordan Love this week. But Fox, he's the number 2 fantasy quarterback so far this season. He sure is. That's because on his only 29 completions, 6 of them have been for touchdowns. He's sitting on an almost 12% touchdown to completion rate. That's cray-cray. Even Mahomes had under 7 at the end of last season. Without those touchdowns, he's only at a 55.8 completion percentage. And he faces a New Orleans defense that's only given up 1 passing touchdown to 3 interceptions and hasn't allowed a single player to go over 65 yards. If you don't want to be a loser, don't play Jordan Love. Also, don't play Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce has only had 82 yards on the ground this year and faces a Jags defense that's only given up 93. And how about Rachaad White? I know you got excited about Rachaad last week. I did too. But did you know that Rachaad has only had 1 run over 10 yards this season? And the Philadelphia defense has only allowed 82 yards to all rushers this season. They actually have an under 3 yards per carry rate allowed. Man, they're not losers. They're winners. And if you want to be a winner, join me Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m. right here on the Fantasy Sports Corporation channel for That Efin Fantasy Morning After Show with me, Chris Fox, and the Adam Hulse. We have an effing good time and talk about your fantasy day. Well, we'll see you next week. Make smart choices. Don't be a loser. Listen to what the Fox says. Have a good one, everybody.
This has been the Dingus pick of the week with your host, Chris Fox.
What did the Fox say? Indeed. All right. Thank you, Chris Fox, for that. Let's get back to the questions. And to Freddie, this one in particular feels good today. It's going to beat you into the ground. We got T. Higgins versus the Rams or Michael Pittman Jr. at Baltimore.
You know what? This is a lot more tricky than I thought because I was actually feeling Pittman talking about him last week. But Higgins has to break out sooner or later. I mean, the whole Cincinnati offense, we thought it was going to happen last week, and it didn't. So I think it's going to happen this week against the Rams. They both throw the ball. It has to. There's no way that we can continue to see this debacle of the Cincinnati offense. So I'm going with Higgins.
I like it. Greg, for you, the Super Mariota brothers, Zay Flowers versus Indianapolis. Tutu Atwell at Cincinnati or Jahan Dotson versus Buffalo?
Oof. I like Zay, man. And I think with that new offense, and Lamar's been looking for Zay Flowers a lot more. He's the true number one out there in Baltimore. Tutu has to compete with Higbee and the new Cooper Cup. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's not enough targets out there in LA. So I'm gonna go with Zay Flowers.
Going with Zay, I like it. Let's go to Justin with some Bijan mustard. One for PPR, Christian Kirk versus Houston, DeAndre Hopkins at Cleveland, or Marquise Brown versus Dallas.
So if DeAndre plays, I will say DeAndre because he's been, while he hasn't been touchdown productive, he has been still very catch productive. And in PPR, that's going to help you a lot. Kirk, it's like I said, Trevor Lawrence, I don't think is going to have a huge day today. And he's going to be splitting with Calvin Ridley because Houston can't cover anybody. So, Calvin Ridley's going to take his fair share of it, and Kirk's going to get left with whatever. Then Marquise Brown against Dallas. Come on now. This Arizona thing, I'd be surprised if they hang 28 points on the Cowboys like they did against the Giants. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins. He seems like the one fluid one. He seems like he's the guy who's going to be flawless regardless of the matchup. He's going to get his catches. I'll go with DeAndre Hopkins.
I like that. And just everyone's aware, the last update I read this morning that he is expected to play. So just as a heads up for that. The only thing I will say, though, with Marquise Brown is that game script may dictate that he may see a bunch of catches if they, say Dallas gets up on the, killing them at that point. So that may be just in a point where they're just throwing the football and he's just happened to be, one of the guys that's out there trying to get something. So he may scrape up something later that's enough to give you something decent for the day.
And, adding on to that point, because you're right, that game script might dictate a lot of late passing. Trayvon Diggs is out now. So taking your number one corner out of the picture does kind of make it a little bit easier, but I still think that DeAndre Hopkins is the pick on this one.
Got you. Faux show. All right, let's finish things up. We got two more. Fred, I got the great Bigsby. Kyle Pitts at Detroit or Hunter Henry at the Jets. Jets.
Oh, God, this is terrible.
I'm not going to pick Hunter Henry against my Jets. We'd have been pissed off about last week, and we're playing at home in the nasty-ass rain. That should be a running game all day. It is flooded out there. So, yes, I'm going to go to Kyle Pitts. As I said, I think Goff throwing the ball a lot, having a big game. I think Atlanta has to match that. So, we're going Kyle Pitts.
Now you're a Jets fan. Now
he's pulling the card out. All right, let's go off the A chain. Finish things up with Greg. It's Jake Ferguson at Arizona or Njoku versus Tennessee.
Ferguson's been showing flashes, man, and I like Ferguson, but with no Nick Chubb, you expect Cleveland to throw the ball a lot more. I know Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore get the majority of targets, but Njoku came on a lot last year, and I can see that happening again this year. So I'm going to lean more towards Njoku against Tennessee.
All right. I like it. All right. No Mikey Bets today. It was a little too early, so we didn't get our injury expert. We didn't get Mikey Bets in. But the good thing is lineup. We have a PSR, the Patriot Sports Radio, have brought us in some homegrown prop bets from their studio at Canna Bloom Pharmacy. Yes, Fred.
I am on a roaming charge. I love you guys. I wish you the best the rest of the day. And I will see you next week.
Oh, why?
Love you guys.
What's going on, Fred? Appreciate you.
Peace, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you coming in and definitely feel you on the roaming charge.
Enjoy Greece, bro.
Yeah, enjoy it, man. Have a lot of fun and safe travels for sure. All right, let's get on. Yeah, I know, right? Let's get to the new segment, PSR Homegrown Prop Bets.
Don't you know I'm loco?
Hey, didn't see you there. Welcome to Homegrown Props. I'm a PSR host guy. I'm just a simple degenerate, raising up props the best way I know how. Care and consideration. Coming to you from favorite relaxation cultivation station, Cannon Bloom Pharmacy. This is our studio. It's a humble abode. We're proud of it. Now, last week we went 2-1. Old Joe Burrow let us down. He was back there nursing his calf. We didn't know about that. T. Higgins come through, though. He went well over his 59.5. DJ Moore, well, that was even easier. Well, some folks might say 2-1. That's pretty good. Let's try to go 3-0 this week. What do you say?
You can do it!
Now, where should we look? I figured Justin Fields, that's the perfect name for homegrown props. Now, we're not going after his rushing prop, however. Everybody's talking about that. Those props are going to be trampled. You don't want that. You don't want produce and half the town had their dirty dick beaters all over. No, sir. People forget. Justin Fields talking about being himself. Simple, organic, original. Justin Fields. That also means chucking that ball a country mile. So we're going to take over the longest completion on Justin Fields, and I think he's going to come through on that. Now, speaking of throwing it a country mile, that reminds me of a man named Rico. Now, Uncle Rico is not in the NFL, but Rico Dollar is. And that man's already got 2 carries inside the 5-yard line, so I figure hard work pays off. Rico's going to go over his rushing prop today, his total yards, because hard work pays off. And he's going to get some extra carries. And you know what? I say Rico gets in the end zone. Let's throw a bonus pick in there that Rico scores a damn touchdown. Now, Adam Thielen, lastly, he's like the old quarterback. He's reliable. If you need 6 catches, he's going to give you 6 catches. Whatever the line is, we're going over it. It's Seattle. They give up that short stuff. Now, best of luck with the bets this weekend, and we'll see you right back here next week.
First of all, to understand what happened to Killer, you gotta understand who Killer the dog was.
Yeah, man. Make sure you check out Wake and Rake. They're on after us. Normally they're on right after us, but we're on a little early this morning. Make sure you check them out. All right, fellas, let's go. Let's get to the Sunday pick'ems.
We're on a mission, guys. We're on a mission, guys.
All right, let's talk about last week. And as soon as I could find it, Greg, yeah, shaking his head. He's definitely the jester this week. Jordan and Fred actually on the come up this week. Me and Justin in second, if you will. For the season, though, look at Justin in the lead once again. Jordan following. Greg in the middle. I'm right behind. And Fred is still the jester. All right, let's get our picks on. Well, we're going to start out today. Falcons at the Lions. The Lions lead the series 25-14. Falcons won the last game in 2021, 20-16. Over under 47. Lions 2.5. Justin, who you got?
The Lions 2.5. I will take that all day long. Like I said, I like the Lions. Jared Goff, I think, will have a big game in this one. I like what they're developing there. Sam Laporta's coming alive. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be playing with an injured toe today. But most importantly, and this is somebody I hammered down on my DFS article, Jahmyr Gibbs is coming for your soul. David Montgomery is out for this game. I think last week Bijan Robinson showed why he is a first-round pick. This week, Jahmyr Gibbs shows why he is a first-round pick. He is going to be out on that field catching passes and running into the end zone. Look for a big week from Jahmyr Gibbs and look for this showdown for the Lions.
He said Gibbs for your soul. Ooh, I love it.
Coming for it. He's coming for it.
Greg, who you like?
I like the Lions as well, man. I think that Cinderella bubble is going to burst this week for the Falcons. I know they're undefeated right now, but the Lions is going to – their defense is strong. And like Justin said, I think Gibbs is going to have a big game. So I'm going with the Lions.
Yeah, plus at home as well. I like the Lions a lot. Put the hammer down on this one. We all like the Lions in this matchup. All right, let's get to the next one. We got the Chargers at the Vikings. Vikings lead the overall series 8-6. The Vikings actually have won the last 3 out of this matchup. Last one was in 2021. They won 27-20. Lots of 20s in this one. Over under in this one's 49.5. The Chargers are favored by 2.5. What say you, Greg?
Man, I've been picking the Vikings the last 2 weeks, man. They gotta come through this week. It's the Chargers. That Eckler's not going to play. They're struggling on defense. You got Justin Jefferson. You got Madison. You got Akins. You got so many weapons. Hawkinson. This has to be the week for the Vikings. So I'm going with the Vikings. If they don't, I'm done with them this season. I'm totally done.
Yeah, I feel both of these teams are in dire straits in the same respects. But yeah, what do you think, Fred? Or excuse me, Justin?
Chalk it up. OJ says if the Vikings don't win today, they're going to lose the rest of the year in his book.
Mark it down right now.
Mark it down. I agree. I think the Vikings need to win this game. The Chargers are in that weird position where I almost think like they need to lose so they can get rid of their coach and have this like late round turnaround. But right now, the Vikings, I think I like their coach. I think they're competing with some of the best teams. They competed with the Eagles last week. They just need to find the formula on defense where they can actually make a stop and make a play. I think it comes this week. The Chargers don't have Eckler. They're going to be, I think Herbert's going to be throwing the ball nonstop today, which is great, but I also think it could lead to a turnover. So hopefully they get that turnover and they can, successfully cash in and get ahead of the Chargers in this game.
Give us the full house on this one. I actually agree with both of you. Our compadres that are not in do not. They're going with the Chargers. I mean, honestly, like I said, both these teams are really scrapping and clawing for this W today. They both need it. I forget what the chances are to get into the playoffs when you're 0-3. But I heard they weren't very good. And I believe it's just been one team since I don't know how long. So, yeah, not too good either way. All right, let's go to Saints at Packers. Packers lead the series 17-10. The Saints won the last time they met, however, in 2021, 38-3. The over-under is 43. Packers are favored by 2.5. Justin, who you like?
I like the Packers. The Saints, to me, are just winning in such ugly ways right now to where their offense is just – it does not look like it's it. Derek Carr looks like a lemon. And I'll tell you what, Jordan Love on the other side, he looks phenomenal. He looks like the second coming of Aaron Rodgers. He's hitting 160 and 3 touchdowns. That stat line reminds you of anybody? Yeah, Aaron freaking Rodgers. He'd put little effort behind it. He'd score his touchdowns. He'd get out. I like the Packers in this game. They seem like they're true to their colors, and Aaron Jones and Christian Watson coming back is going to be big for him. What about you, OJ? It looks like Commissioner's frozen.
Yeah, he froze a little bit.
No,
you're good
now.
For a second. But I agree with you, Justin. I'm going with the Packers, man. I think the lack of talent on offense for New Orleans right now, and like you said, Carr looks like a used car, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Packers. Jordan Love looks good. Aaron Jones is back. I like those young receivers out there. So I think it's going to be a good game, but I think Packers are going to pull it out at the end.
He looks like he's got a transmission issue, right? Like you just can't get it into gear right. You're just like, fuck, man, come on.
All right. Well, I kind of agree with you guys. I've been betting against this Packers team, not really respecting what they're doing, but they at least have an identity where I feel like the Saints do not right now. They're still trying to figure things out. So with that said, all of us, except for our boy who's sitting at the bottom right now, all the way in Greece, we're going to get a lone wolf. Let's see if we can, all the way from my friend. Good job on your lone wolf pick. We'll see how if it comes to fruition. Who knows? All right, let's get to the next one.
I just love how Greg is just looking over at him and like shame's like disgusting.
Like, what's wrong with you? Texans at the Jags. Texans lead the series 28-14. The Texans have won 9 out of the last 10, believe it or not. They've split last year. Jags won 31-3, and the Texans won 13-6. The over-under is 46. The Jags are favored by 7.5. Greg, who you like?
I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think because there go my alarm now.
That's why his ass didn't get up. What up, David? Now we know why Greg wasn't on time this morning. There we go. All right.
On that note, I'm going with the Jags. Go ahead, Justin.
We should have that for the lone wolf, like spoiler alert, spoiler.
I don't know why my alarm didn't go off.
Oh my God. I'm going to go Jags on this one. I actually didn't know that the Texans had anybody's number. So knowing that they have their number, it kind of makes me regret my pick. But I'm still going to stick with the Jags. I think they got too much weaponry out there. I think they're going to take this one. Especially at
PSR,
home.
my fellas, welcome in. We just played your boy Eric's followed them for a wake and rake right after. Put that hammer down on this one. We all like the Jags in this one. I don't care how much the Texans own the Jags right now. Definitely like the Jags offense, the way they've set up better more than the Houston Texans for sure. All right, let's get on to the game of the day. The Broncos are at America's team, the Miami Dolphins. That's why we're up so early. As soon as we're done, I'm taking off down south. America's team lead this series 12-7-1. Broncos won the last time, however, it was in 2020, 20-13. The over-under is 45.5. Dolphins favored by 5.5. What do you say, Justin?
I got to say this. Coop, don't ever say that we're haters because we get up so you can go to the game.
That's true.
As much as Jordan cups your balls and says America's team, he didn't get up.
I appreciate that cup, Jordan. I still appreciate the cup.
You know what? I'm going to give you another gift. I think the Dolphins win this game. I think it is going to be kind of a little bit of a struggle back and forth, but I think Russell Wilson's more prone to making mistakes than Tua is at this point.
I like it. What do you say, Juice?
This hurts, man. But the Dolphins look good. Tua looks good. That offense is clicking. And Broncos are struggling, man. They're struggling. Russell still looks like Russell, right? Like last week, I kept saying, Russell got to show up. He has to show up. He ain't showing up. I'm going with the Dolphins. 3-0 looks good on the Dolphins.
Play the national anthem and put that hammer down. We all like the Miami America's team Dolphins for sure. David, thank you for joining us as well, sir. If I didn't say it, I just remembered. All right, let's get on to the next one. Titans at the Browns. Oh, I do want to say this. I do, however, think Miami gets the Broncos' best punch. I mean, these teams that are 0-2 right now, they can't go 0-3. So we're going to see a decent game out of this Broncos team today.
And Sean Payton's on the other side, so Sean Payton's going to give you.
It's not going to be a walkover. I'm a little nervous. Actually, been talking about it since this week started. Like,
they're flying from Denver across town, across the country.
Listen, I know this team. All right, trust me. Titans at the Browns. The Browns lead this series 36-32. Browns won the last game in 2020, 41-35. The over-under is 41, and the line is Browns by 4.5. Greg, who you like?
I think the Browns are going to suffer from some Nick Chubb hangover, and I don't think they're going to perform too well, man. So I think the Titans feed Derrick Henry this week. I think DeAndre wakes up a little bit. So I'm going with the Titans this week. Tannehill cannot look this bad for the first two games. Can he really look this bad? But no, I'm going with the Titans, man.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for sure. It's going to be a tough matchup. Justin, who you like?
Actually, no. So Tannehill looked okay last week, and that's my problem is I don't think he can look that good for 2 weeks straight. I'm going to flip the script on you, Greg. I don't think he can look that good for 2 weeks straight. I'm going to say this. I think the Browns are going to – the way that that game ended, I think the Browns are pissed off at themselves, and I think that more importantly, Deshaun Watson needs to get real with himself and say, hey, I need to figure this out because I'm getting fucking $260 million to fucking play for this team. We need to figure this out, and I think they figure it out against the Titans. I think they get back in the win column and get back in the race.
Yeah, they may need to shift this offense a little bit instead of being so run-eccentric. Let to spread it out and let Deshaun just start chucking that thing down the field and running it himself. I agree with you, Justin. I like the Browns in this one too. I think they do bounce back from last week. Greg and Jordan, however, going with the Titans. I don't know. I'm nervous now. I know. I'm nervous now that Fred picked them. I don't know. Maybe. All right. Let's go. Bills at Commanders. Bills lead the series 10-6. Bills have won 8 out of the last 9 of this matchup. The last one they won is in 2021, 43-21. Over-under is 46. Bills are favored by 6.5. This Commanders team has surprised a lot, I think, for sure. But, Greg, who you like in this matchup?
Man, that Commanders defense is tough, man. They're showing up, and Brian Robinson looks good on that offense, man. Vanderbeek's making a difference. With all that being said, I'm going with the Bills. I think Josh Allen has a great game. I think he found it last week. I think he understood. Let me chuck it down when it's not there. Let me make the smart decision. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
Who do you like, Justin?
I think OJ, hit it right on the head, hit the nail right on the head. This team figured it out. Guess what? Buffalo, stick with the formula. Run with James Cook. He's a good freaking running back. And that opens up everything for Josh Allen and his unlimited potential. They figured it out against the Raiders. Can they continue that transition with the Commanders? I think they can. Hopefully they can. If they can't, then they're in serious trouble because the Dolphins are getting it figured out.
Put the hammer down. We all like the Bills in this one, even though his Commanders team definitely earned some respect for sure. Colts at Ravens. Colts lead the series 10-7. Ravens won the last 3 in a row, actually. Last time they won was in 2021, 31-25 in OT. Over unders 44.5. Ravens are favored by 8.5. Justin, who you like in this one?
No Anthony Richardson. I like the Ravens.
Yeah, it's pretty easy analysis for sure. You don't think Gardner Minshew is pulling this one out for them today? Juice, or you like?
Come on, who's playing for Indianapolis?
Yeah, let's put the hammer down on this one. Pretty easy. We all like the
Next.
Ravens. No Anthony Richardson. That kind of pretty much said it all for sure. Let's go. The Patriots at the Jets. Patriots lead the series 73-54-1. As we know, Patriots won 14 in a row. Something that's even more interesting, they've won 22 out of the last 24. Both of those wins by the Jets were in overtime. Crazy. Last year, Patriots 30-27, 33-0. The over-under is 38. Patriots are favored by 2. Greg, who do you like in this one?
You know, I woke up, well, not yesterday. I saw the report that we don't have our left tackle. But you know what? I'm a true green Jets fan. I'm going with the Jets. We have to break through. I'm begging you guys. Run the stupid ball with Cook and friggin' with Breece Hall. We can do this. It's going to be a nasty, rainy, windy game. Don't let Zach Wilson throw the ball. Run the ball. We can do this. I'm going.
Run, play defense. They could pull it out. Justin, who you like?
Wow, you really held that poker under the fire for a little bit of time, huh? Just telling him every stat, you know. Ooh, 22 of 24, you've lost in a row. You guys have been miserable for 12 seasons now. Oh, man. You know, Greg, Fred, you know I'm a Jets fan at heart. But for some reason, man, Bill just loves killing you guys. He just has a hard on for that. You know, he might not win 8 games, but as long as he won the 2 against the Jets, he's okay with his season. I'm going to go with the Pats this week. Mac Jones does not look terrible, unlike the guy on the other side. And this team, defense-wise, they'll scheme it up so Zach Wilson will throw 2 interceptions. It just happens. It happens.
Bill, if you're listening, it gets me hard too. And yes, PSR, yes, I'm going to the game. So yes, and we are taking off as soon as this thing is over. All right, let's get on to like how I glossed over that.
What was the picks? Did Freddie pick?
Oh, my bad. My fault. I'm sorry. I didn't even put up. We had a full house on this one. Everyone on one side likes the Patriots. We know the Jets fans are going to stay loyal, but we all know what's up. All right, let's go to the next matchup.
He wasn't loyal last week.
That's very true. That is very true. Panthers at the Seahawks. Seahawks lead the series 10-5. Panthers won the last one last year, actually 30-24. Over unders 42.5. The Seahawks are favored by 4. Justin, who you like?
I like Andy Dalton in this game. I think he's going to do well, but I still like the Seahawks to win this game.
Greg got excited for a second. Who you like, Greg?
I can't believe the Red Rifle's still in the damn league.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm going with Seattle, man. Andy Dalton ain't going to do crap.
Put the hammer down. I agree. I don't really think Andy Dalton's going to do anything either. So, yeah, let's go Seahawks all in this matchup. All right, let's go here. The Bears at the Chiefs. The Bears lead the series 7-6, surprisingly enough. Chiefs won the last game in 2019, 26-3. The over-under is 49. The Chiefs are favored by 12.5. Justin, who do you like?
I like that line. I like the Bears on that one because I think they'll keep it. I think they'll keep it close. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised what this game does, but I still like the Chiefs to win. But that line, I think somebody might want to bet on the Bears on that line. 12.5. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I'm just gonna say it. Put the hammer down. We don't even need to hear anything else. I mean, it's all Chiefs against the line, yeah, but we're just picking straight up for our
Yeah.
picks. Everyone likes the Chiefs. I don't think, Greg, unless you got something else you want to add to that, but I
No.
figured we were good. Let's go. Let's go. Cowboys at the Cardinals. Cowboys lead the series 56-34-1. Cardinals have won 6 out of the last 7 in this matchup. Last time was in 2022. 25-22 the Cardinals won. The over-under is 44.5. Sorry, and the Cowboys are favored by 13. Greg, who you like?
Come on, even with Trayvon Diggs in the second string cornerback, that defense is nasty. It's the Cowboys. They're going to run the ball. They're going to pass the ball. They're going to sack. They're going to get some turnovers. It's going to be ugly. I don't. That line is correct. So I'm going with the Cowboys.
Put it down. I don't think we need to talk about this one neither. Everyone liking Cowboys. Me, the line is what it is, but straight up, definitely like Cowboys in this matchup. Let's go to the Sunday Nighter Steelers. Go to Vegas. Raiders lead the series 17-14. Steelers won last year 13-10. The over-under is 44.5, and the Raiders are favored by 1.5. Justin, who you like?
I like the Raiders in this game. I think that the Raiders have got something there with Jacoby Myers coming back. I think the slot receiver is going to help out Jimmy G a lot. And I think the Steelers really are so up and down right now that they could be freaking riding that high of beating the Browns this last week and then go all the way down that low. And the Raiders have always seemed to have been one of those teams that gives them that fight, and they lose it sometimes. So I'm going to go with the Raiders winning this game, getting back to that good feeling in Vegas.
Greg, who you like?
I like the Raiders too. I mean that Pittsburgh defense carried that for that win last week for Pittsburgh. So, and I don't think Jimmy G is going to make the mistakes the other team made last week. So I'm going with the Raiders.
Well, we love Vegas. We love Vegas. We love doing our draft in Vegas, but I don't love them in this matchup. I like the Steelers. So does Jordan and Fred, which makes me nervous. So we got a full house in this particular matchup, and now I'm rethinking now that Fred went with them. Let's go to the 2 Monday Nighters again. Eagles at the Bucks. The Bucks lead the series 11-10. The Bucks have won 5 in a row. A lot of interesting stats thrown out here. Last time they played was in 2022. The Bucks won 31-15. Obviously, that was Tom Brady. Over under is 45. Eagles are favored by 7. What do you say, Greg?
Baker's no Tom Brady, not at all. So I think that Eagles defense puts the clamps down on Baker, stops that run game, and I think the Eagles pull this one out. So I'm going with the Eagles.
PSR still pulling this Jordan Love bullshit. Let's go to Justin. Who you like in the matchup?
Yeah, I think Greg's absolutely right. They go in there, they pull the curtain down, and they see the little man hanging behind there pretending to be the wizard, and that is Baker Mayfield. This game is because he's small. This game is going to be a wrap, I think, by the third quarter. I think the Eagles are just going to put it on them.
Perfect transition to the other Monday night game. Put that hammer down for this one. We all like the Eagles. Going to that last matchup on Monday night, the Rams at the Bengals. Bengals lead the series 8-7. Rams have won 2 in a row. Obviously, last time was in the Super Bowl, 24-20. Over under is 45. Bengals are favored by 7. Crazy enough. Justin, who you like in the matchup?
Am I howling in this one?
You are howling in this one.
I knew it.
Indeed. I'll give it to you here at the end, but go ahead. Tell me.
No worries. No, I knew it. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think the Bengals are beat to shit, and this might end up being the one season where Joe Burrow has to suffer being on the couch when playoff season comes around. I think that Joe Burrow is a little bit off with this calf injury, and honestly, I think that at some point, they're going to have to address it. And if they address it with Jake Browning, this team is going to go straight to shit. So with this game, though, I'm not impressed with this defense. This defense gave up 24 points to the freaking Browns, and last week got beat by the Ravens. I think that Puka Nacua, I think that Matthew Stafford, I like what I saw last week against my 49ers. I think that they have enough in the gas tank to beat our Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football.
You see, and this is why I wish Jason would let us make our picks a little later in the week, because I would have went with you, Justin, because after learning who they picked up, I forgot who the quarterback is off their practice squad. I don't think Burrow's going to play. Just saying. So I'm gonna stick with my pick, Jason. I'm gonna stick with Bengals, but I think the Rams are gonna pull this out, though.
Well, listen, we're all pulling for Joe Burrow, and yes, PSR. I definitely, if you didn't hear our Justin alluded to earlier, he talked about Gibbs earlier. He's all in on Gibbs today.
Hell yeah! Are you kidding me?
Definitely,
bump that line up. Bump that line up. I think he gets over 59 yards today receiving.
I think that for sure. All right, so for our picks, we all like the Bengals, and we're all praying that Joe Burrow plays and he gets back. But Justin, for this one, you are a lone wolf.
You're a smart man, Justin. You're smart.
Yeah, how up? You might have played yourself into an easy victory to end the week. All right, well, let's put our hands together. It is Sunday morning. I know some of us didn't get a chance to go because it's too damn early yet. It's time for us to visit Fantasy Jesus for him to bless our DFS lineups.
I'm here to save your fantasy rosters. Welcome in, football fans, to week 3. This is your Fantasy Jesus giving you 5 DFS plays for the week. Let's start it out with Kirk D. Cousins, the man, the myth, the legend, the daddest of all dad bods. He has 6 touchdowns, 700 yards, and is playing the league's worst pass defense in the LA Chargers. Book him this week as your DFS QB play of the week. Next, we're going to go to Jahmyr Gibbs. So Jahmyr Gibbs is getting the full workload this week with David Montgomery as doubtful right now. I love this play. Last week, Bijan Robinson had a big day, and he's playing the Atlanta Falcons. He had 9 targets last week. Look for him to be a big smash play this week as your DFS running back. Then we're going to the stack. Jordan Addison has 2 touchdowns in 2 games, is averaging 14 points a game, and is playing the league's worst receiving defense. Look for that to be your smash play of the week, and of real value considering Justin Jefferson is about 2 tiers higher than he is. Then we're going to stick with the NFC North. Sam Laporta doubled his stats last week, and Fantasy Jesus is calling upon his fantasy knowledge and saying he's predicting a fantasy touchdown for Sam Laporta this week. It's a big week for this kid. He's bucking the trend as rookie tight ends, and I think that we are going to see some big stuff from Sam Laporta this week. Put him in as your fantasy tight end. Finally, we're going to wrap it up with the Cleveland Browns. After last week's pitiful performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think Ryan Tannehill is in some serious trouble. Let's give our prayers out to Ryan Tannehill, as he might be missing Derrick Henry as well this week. I think it's going to be a big week, a big smash start for the Cleveland Browns. This has been your Fantasy Jesus. Thank you for listening in, and may you have a blessed week.
I'm not sure who to start this week.
Trust in your Savior.
Trust in your Savior, indeed. All right, well, listen, we got a few comments while I was on 4th and Flex. See you in the comments. Appreciate you. Yeah, we 6:30 this morning. I'm about to head on down to Miami. That's why I got up so early. PSR, we appreciate you joining us. Coles Martin, appreciate you guys up with us early. Everyone joining us, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I'm heading down south because it's time for America's team to take over. I should have a few good shorts coming out of Miami today. All right, guys, we'll see you on Tuesday for our waiver wire show. For now, we appreciate you, and we are out. Good luck in week 3.